whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin Henry Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row on Thursday nights. It was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on. Baby, gotta get on. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Gotta get on up. What's up, everybody? That was our theme song for Gotta Get On Up. Thank you, Tylene. Thank you, Darius. Welcome to the channel, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you are blessed and doing safe. You're on channel GBoo2786 on Facebook, Gavin Rich 2786, and I'm sorry, on Twitter, that is, but also Facebook. You know who it is. You all who probably would usually watch me on the Gavin Richard backup channel, you've noticed that it's not streaming on there, and I'll address that in a minute. But before I do that, I need you to go to iTunes, buy Gotta Get On Up, support me by also going to Video Soul. And also, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw the trailer, please purchase The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. on Kindle right now. And support this channel as it is not monetized via Cash App, via Zelle, via Venmo, all of the available options at the bottom. I would greatly appreciate it. We are doing this channel. We're live streaming here on Facebook, on those platforms. And of course, as you know, the channel's not being monetized. We're going to bring in our special guest. This brother is the author. Well, he's always our guest. But it's always a special time to have him. The author of The Man Crisis and the upcoming Woman Crisis, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, everywhere you can get your ebooks. It will be, I think, out later in this year. Brother Shawn James, please welcome, Shawn. How are you this evening?
I'm fine, Gavin. How are you?
All right. If I have it correctly, I know that the Woman Crisis is available for pre-order, but is it also when is it going to be available?
The Woman Crisis will be available on November 29th, 2022. So if you want to pre-order your digital version of The Woman Crisis on all online booksellers, you can put in your pre-order right now and it'll be dropped to your cell phone, your tablet, or your laptop. And if you want to get a paperback version, the paperback version will be coming up in later in mid-November, around November 15th. Finally doing the final edits on the book. So the paperback will be available around November 15th on Amazon.
Yeah. And The Man Crisis is a great book. So I would recommend everybody to purchase The Woman Crisis, which is, I guess, the counterpart.
It's the companion.
The companion to this book. I say counterpart, but yeah. And also Stop Simping in Cyberspace is a good book to read too. Now, I'm gonna go ahead. Let's and address something. I was gonna address it later in the show, but I guess it's good now. Those of you, as I stated earlier, you're probably wondering why I'm not streaming on Gavin Reshaw, my other YouTube channel, and that is because YouTube has suspended my account, on my backup channel for a broadcast that I did Sunday that I had on all platforms, where we were talking about the Herschel Walker Raphael Warnock debate. Now, I don't know what they're saying. I said that was hateful. I have appealed it and they denied it. Let me correct myself. I've appealed it and nothing has come back as of yet. I'm still waiting. But I just want to say this is really frustrating, and one of the reasons why I am seriously, by next year. I've said this, I'm on Rumble already. You can go to Rumble right now. I'll give you my information, but I want to move my stuff to a website from now on and just have you all support me there, because this is getting to be ridiculous what YouTube is doing, censoring people for the most ridiculous stuff I have seen. And I know I'm not alone in that. My channel has not been monetized. I still have a community guideline strike on that channel and this one for something 2 years ago, because I shared a broadcast of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Savior's Day address. Nobody can tell me, however, when I had that channel taken down, when I had that video taken down, I was given the strike for violating community guidelines. You can't even tell me what the Minister Farrakhan said or any of the speakers, because I didn't watch all of it, from what I recalled. What they said that qualified as hate speech. We're sick of it. We're tired of it. That's why Nicole doesn't come on and do YouTube videos anymore, guys. That's why, I talk to Nicole all the time. That's why she doesn't do, she doesn't do her live stream, her shows anymore, because she's tired of dealing with this crap. And who can blame her? Same thing with Brother Drew Story News. You fight so hard for stuff to have it taken away. So I'm moving my channel. I'm gonna start moving stuff by the end of the year. I'm gonna have my own website with my stuff up, because I'm sick of this. Now you can say, and Sean knows what it's like, because Sean, you have been censored by YouTube, and you're dealing with this stuff. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is, because YouTube will give you a hard time over stuff that's years old and the stuff that nobody even is watching anymore.
Yeah, that happened. This happened to a lot of people I know, not just you, but also
They've been attacking a lot of black channels.
a lot of black channels.
And when you confront them about it, they say they didn't do it, but we know that they're doing it.
That happened to Dana. I spoke with Dana with the data. Dana's channel was, she had a suspension for a video that was a year old. What? And she's upset because it's affecting her money as well. People rely on this stuff. You can make a 6-figure income with YouTube. It's possible if you get the amount of subscribers to your channel, if you get sponsors, you can make a living off of this just by vlogging. and they're trying to keep blacks from doing that. And I'm seriously I'm not gonna show my hand, but they're gonna be. But honestly, I honestly will say there will be some type of consequences that's gonna happen in the near future with YouTube doing this stuff. People are not gonna keep tolerating it. I'm not gonna keep tolerating it. Sean's not gonna keep tolerating it. We're fed up. All right. So I wanted to talk about this, Brother Sean. This caught my attention earlier this week. I talked about this Tuesday with Judge Joe Brown, but George Floyd's family have filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Estimated they're planning to file a $250 million lawsuit against Kanye West. Now, Sean, have you seen the video with Kanye West at on NRE's Drink Champs?
I've seen part of it, and I've heard of it.
So you saw part of it, and you heard of it, but what part did you see?
I don't know, just like towards the end when he was babbling incoherently.
Okay. Well, what he actually said, he made this remark, and this is a minute. He stated that George Floyd, he believed, died from fentanyl and not from and saying Derek Chauvin's knee was not on him like that. But I'll play the video for you to see, to take a look at. I actually had a longer clip of it here, but this is one I have right there. So
if you look, I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. When he said mama is his girlfriend. They said he screamed for his mama. Mama was his girlfriend. It's in the documentary. But something that hit me, that fucked me up when I was watching the documentary, and it said, they want a tall guy like me. When I looked at that image of him, this tall black dude with the bald head, he reminded me of somebody else. Who do you think he reminded me of? Virgil. He reminded me of Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna cry in front of y'all because that's how they get. I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. When he said mama is his girlfriend. They said he screamed for his mama. Mama was his girlfriend. It's in the documentary. But something that hit me, that fucked me up when I was watching the documentary, and it said, they want a tall guy like me. When I looked at that image of him, this tall black dude with the bald head, he reminded me of somebody else. Who do you think he reminded me of? Virgil.
So that was the clip that he said. And so far, NRE has gone on a particular, NRE has been going on an apology tour, trying to Kanye. They pulled the video. Now, George Floyd's family, particularly the mother of his daughter, is considering filing a lawsuit against Kanye West.
Once again, this time for his remarks. The family of George Floyd might be suing Kanye West. Zach Lashley live in the newsroom with what's making headlines this morning. Zach.
Lisa, this morning, Kanye West is making headlines once again, this time for his remarks made on a recent episode of Drink Champs podcast. West, who has changed his legal name to Ye, linked George Floyd's death to fentanyl. On the podcast, the rapper said he watched Candace Owens' documentary called The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, George Floyd and the Rise of BLM. Ye said, quote, on the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. End of quote. The Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner's Office ruled Floyd's death was a homicide caused by cardiopulmonary arrest in connection to restraint and neck compression while being knelt on by a police officer for more than 8 minutes. Floyd's autopsy revealed small amounts of fentanyl in his system, but not enough to be considered fatal. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt, who represents the Floyd family, tweeted the family is considering legal action against West for emotional distress.
Well, it's actually, and it's here, there's a $250 million lawsuit that the family is planning, it looks like they all have filed and planning to file against Kanye West. Lawyers for George Floyd's daughter. Okay, so they took away my read on this, but now I've seen that clip. That clip you saw Kanye West where they said he gave $2 million to George Floyd's daughter for college tuition. I've seen that going around.
Kanye West donates $2 million, pays college tuition for George Floyd's daughter. Thursday, June 4th, 2020. Ain't these the same folks that's trying to sue him for his comments on Drink Champs? And he already gave $2 million? Oh, they tweaking, bruh.
Now, let me just say this. What they're alleging essentially is that Kanye inflicted intentional infliction of emotional distress, and the mother of George Floyd's daughter has filed this suit. In a news release from Weatherspoon Law Group and Dixon attorneys at law, Floyd's family issued a cease and desist letter to West, known as Ye, for his comments about the 2020 death of the man at the hands of the Minneapolis police that sparked a worldwide movement against police brutality. In a news release that discusses the lawsuit filed by Roxy Washington, the mother of Gianna Floyd, lawyers said West made false statements about George Floyd's death to promote his brands and increasing marketing value and revenue for himself and associates. The release also said that West stated malicious falsehoods about Floyd in order to profit from his death and the family's trauma. Now, give me a break. Let me say this to you. They had to mention the daughter because I know as an attorney, the daughter is the only thing linking them to making this type of lawsuit, to making this type of argument, because she's she's the only family. Well, not the only family. I know he has other children, but on top of that, the mother of the child would have nothing because she is not married to him. However, I think all of this, and Shawn, you may correct me if you think this is true, but I think this also has something to do with the Alex Jones lawsuit that took place, that verdict that came back recently, and apparently that $1 billion verdict now, and now you have Kanye West being sued for his remarks on George Floyd. Now, I do not support Kanye West's remarks on George Floyd because everybody looking at the video could see what took place, and Derek Chauvin was found guilty for a reason. They did not believe that his life was in danger, and they believed that he caused this man's death. Nevertheless, Shawn, I also do support freedom of speech, even if I am against it and I don't like it. But what did you think? What do you think of this lawsuit that's being filed?
Well, I think that the Floyd estate has every right to file the lawsuit that it wants, because the statements by Kanye West really, as I see it, they were just completely out of line. And the reason why they were completely out of line is because your Kanye West, as I see it, is completely mentally incompetent, because when I listened to the statements he was making, they were clearly incoherent and just complete babble. Now, they want to try to say
I
that
can't comment on his mental illness, but go on.
Well, I'm not saying that. People say he has a chemical imbalance in his brain. And what I want to say about your Kanye West is the Black community, we really have to deal with this guy, get this guy into some sort of conservatorship, because he is a danger to himself. When he makes statements like he did with George Floyd, he puts the entire Black community at risk, because what your white supremacists will do with a guy like a Kanye West is take a statement like he makes like this and use it to minimize the deaths of other black men at the hands of police officers and that go rogue. And they'll use it in the case of other violent incidents with guys like George Zimmerman. They will weaponize a guy like a Kanye West. And your Kanye West, as I see it, if he's going out here making statements like this that are unsubstantiated and it's related to a so-called chemical imbalance in his brain, then we need to go out here and establish a conservatorship so that somebody is supervising him the same way Britney Spears and Amanda Bynes were out here. When people saw them getting out of control, what they did was put both of those women in conservatorships and restricted them as related to their behavior outside. So if the white community can go out here and do something about out of control women like your Amanda Bynes and your I forget Britney Spears, then the black community really needs to go do something about your Kanye West, because if the white community would go out here and protect theirs to prevent them from self-destructing, then something needs to be done about Kanye West. Because when I look at his behavior, he's a man who is completely out of control. But the black community's passive behavior on mental health is to say, oh, that's just that crazy guy. Well, if he is a so-called crazy guy, he cannot be allowed to be running around with the kind of money and resources that he has, because white supremacists are weaponizing him and they're using him to go out here and be able to manipulate their talking points and using them to promote and reinforce their white supremacist talking points. So your Candace Owens basically is taking this clown and basically having him parrot the statements that the far right wants stated. And then they're also manipulating him through his finances, getting him to buy their white supremacist social media site, Parler. And if this is the case, and this man has, again, a so-called chemical imbalance in his brain and has issues as related to him not being able to think critically, then there needs to be something done about this individual, and he needs to be put under a conservatorship, because statements like this that he made about George Floyd, again, they are, as some people would see, to be slanderous, but I see them as very dangerous, because this is something white supremacists will use to undermine black people's efforts to try to get justice when black people are wronged as related to the criminal justice system. And the whole thing is that the Floyd estate, they have every right to sue him, because again, he did make statements. And if they did this under the state of slander, but what they're trying to do is the same thing as Alex Jones. And the sad part is that they have a case right here as related to everything, because Alex Jones' case set a legal precedent, and they can use that same legal precedent to go after your Kanye West. But as I see it, this is a man who needs to be under a conservatorship, because he's off the rails. And if he cannot be able to take care of himself, then he needs others to supervise him.
Yeah, well, go ahead and finish your point,
I'm
Shawn.
finished with my point. My point is he needs supervision.
Your point is he needs supervision, but I'm going to tell you this. I understand what you're saying about the Alex Jones case, but what makes them think? What makes that mean that they have a legal case against him?
Well, they have a legal precedent now, and the whole thing is that when you set one case, they're doing this to say, look, you cannot go out here and make unsubstantiated.
Well, they filed a lawsuit against him, but the thing is, whether it goes in front of a jury and it's accepted, and they believe that it. See, here's the problem, though, and this is what happens when we get people who do things on emotions and not law. I'm not defending what Kanye West says, but there is something called, and yes, you're right, there are things called defamation, there are things called slander, but the thing is that defamation is a personal right. What they were saying with Alex Jones and what happened with him was that he kept on making these remarks about the children of Sandy Hook, saying it was a false flag, and their families were being harassed, obviously by, I guess, Alex Jones followers or people who listen to him, and essentially they said this was affecting their lives and causing intentional infliction of emotional distress and all of these damages, and that's how they filed the lawsuit against Alex Jones. With Kanye, he made a remark about George Floyd, although I say a false remark by talking about the fentanyl, saying that killed, basically saying that killed him, and not Chauvin's knee on his neck when everybody looking at it, at the video saw it. The coroner confirmed that it was his cause of death, and it was a false statement. I do not see that though being, and I know this as an attorney, that's not defamation of character. What they're trying to allege is an intentional infliction of emotional distress. And the problem with that, and they may be able to make, I don't know, they may find a jury who will be sympathetic to them. But just as a legal attorney looking at it, when we talk about intentional infliction of emotional distress, that's a pattern that someone has. And maybe with Alex Jones, there was more of a pattern. I don't see that with Kanye, although he says stupid remarks about black folks. He's gone on this apology tour now about Jews, because he talked about that group. And remember, he lost all of his endorsements. He's lost, Chase Bank has closed his accounts. And that's happening. But I see my whole thing, and I was talking with Judge Joe, and more I think about it, I am looking at this too as what the effects on free speech and what will happen. Because what we use against one person one day may come back and haunt us the next. That's all I'm thinking about. As to your question, Tylene, a conservatorship basically is like a curatorship here in Louisiana when you take care of someone who can't take care of themselves. Someone, or rather, excuse me, not a curatorship, but we call it an interdiction. A person that's interdicted that can't fend for themselves. That's, let's say, someone who suffers from dementia, someone who is legally incompetent of handling their affairs, completely unable to handle their everyday life. That's what they get the court to intercede and interdict them, so that one of the family members could take care of them based off of their condition, because they can't do normal, ordinary things. But Shawn, you're welcome to have the last word.
No, I'm finished here.
Okay. So you think that all right. Well, we're gonna keep monitoring it. I think that this will be interesting, to say the least, of what's going on with Kanye West. Do I think something will come out of it? I don't know. Just me being an attorney, I doubt it, but there may be some type of settlement that he just gives. But you did see where it says he gave $2 million to the girl for school, and now he's saying this stuff. But I can tell you this much: if you're quoting Candace Owens, you don't have a great source.
I think he's being manipulated by her, because her husband owns Parler, and she got him to buy Parler.
Okay. So I didn't know. So he's in plans to buy Parler, and now her husband owned Parler. Okay, well that probably was it.
But that's why I say he needs a conservatorship, because it looks like he's just being taken advantage of, and he really needs somebody to be looking out for him, because a lot of his actions as of late just show me somebody who needs supervision. I mean, if white folks go out here and will try to protect Britney Spears or Amanda Bynes to prevent them from self-destructing, the Black community really needs to start taking mental health more seriously, because we're seeing a guy self-destruct right before us, and these episodes are we need to have a standard to say this is just not acceptable.
Okay, well, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. I want to address this video. This actually was on Pod Save America. Former President Barack Obama made some remarks about the Democrats and what they're doing. So he was actually sending a warning to them. So I want y'all to see this right quick. And hold on, I'll be back in a second, okay?
All right.
Yeah, and sometimes Democrats are, right? It's like, sometimes people just want to not feel as if they are walking on eggshells, and and they want some acknowledgement that life is messy and that all of us at any given moment can, say things the wrong way, make mistakes, not being a buzzkill, right?
That's a lesson for the Democrats.
Yeah, and sometimes Democrats are, right? It's like, sometimes, people just want to not feel as if they are walking on eggshells, and they want some acknowledgement that life is messy and that all of us at any given moment can, say things the wrong way, make mistakes, not being a buzzkill, right?
That's a lesson for the Democrats.
Yeah, and sometimes Democrats are, right? It's like, sometimes, people just want to not feel as if they are walking on eggshells, and they want some acknowledgement that life is messy and that all of us at any given moment can, say things the wrong way, make mistakes, not.
So President Obama was basically saying the Democrats can be a buzzkill, especially now with cancel culture. That's what he was referring to. And your Guardian, he also made some remarks about Black people and voting. Our brother TD Hip Hop actually did a great video earlier today about Barack Obama, and basically him telling Black Americans to go vote, even though voting won't end anti-racism. And I'll play a clip of that.
85 to 90% on average.
What? Is your vote going to eliminate racism, or?
Podcast called Pod Save America. And I want you to listen to this exchange where Obama is essentially talking about how everyone should just get out there and vote despite the lack of change that it creates as far as transformative change is concerned. He first starts out talking about climate change, but I'm going to skip that part just to get straight to the point to where he's talking about racism. And then we'll get back into the discussion.
The thing I worry most about during these midterms, and this happened throughout my presidency and pretty much every Democratic presidency, is that our Democratic voters get real hyped up around presidential races. And we lose interest a lot of times during midterms. And then we're puzzled as to, well, why isn't more stuff happening? And then we use the fact that more stuff isn't happening as an excuse to not vote again in the midterms. The same is true when it comes to issues like racial justice. Is your vote going to eliminate racism or problems between police and communities of color across the country? Probably not. But you know what? It could mean a different DA someplace. It could mean the difference in terms of making an investment in diversion programs that give kids a chance and don't simply lock them up for 20 years. And that's got to be worth 15 minutes of your time. And then you can continue to work for the broader vision that you're looking for.
All right. So, Shawn, you've been very critical, and I have, of former President Obama and his remarks. First off, let's talk about what he says with the Democrats being a buzzkill, and then let's talk about his recent comments about going out and vote.
Well, the first part about the Democrats being a buzzkill, no, the Democrats abused people for the last 2 years. And they abused people with things like the jab mandates, threatening to take people's jobs and their livelihoods, and basically destroying the U.S. economy. And they also came down and were just so arrogant and condescending. That's how they were the buzzkill. They were out here looking to bully and coerce people, and people are just tired of the bullying. They're walking on eggshells because they're scared that people are going to push back and vote red in large numbers. So your Barack Obama wants to try to play with words, but he doesn't want to take accountability for the 2 years that the left have been in charge. And the left have basically steamrolled Americans, steamrolled over Americans' rights. And in the case of those who refuse to take the jab, you took away people's jobs. And now you're scared that people are going to take your jobs away on election day for disrespecting the American people. And the thing with your Barack Obama is he's still coming across as condescending and arrogant, not ever thinking about any of the people whose lives he's destroyed over the last 2 years. These leftists sit here in states like here in New York. You took away a million people's jobs. You prevented a million people from working. You took away people's rights to go out here and make a living. And then you want to go out here and think, oh, people are walking on eggshells. No, you're walking on eggshells because you're scared that somebody's going to smack the crap out of you for all the disrespect you have given people, and you've done people dirty. And like most beta males, you're scared of the payback that's coming. That's what Barack Obama is afraid of. And that's why he's all sitting there quivering. And many of these leftists are quivering because they've come out here with these different deflections like abortion that haven't worked. And people are angry because the state of the economy has become completely messed up by the left and their policies like ending the Keystone Pipeline, these jab mandates, and this out of control inflation that's as a result. And they're the ones who people are tired. The left are they're tired of. They're tired of them condescending to them. They're tired of them talking down to them. They're tired of them trying to force and bully and coerce them. And they're tired of these leftist bullies trying to just force their way of life as the American way, when the American way is supposed to be about Americans having that life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But with these leftists, they all want everybody to fit into their box that they feel is acceptable so that they can have their smooth world. Now, on that other point that your Barack Obama made, that was another middle finger at foundational Black Americans, and it's another disrespect directed directly at us. He's basically saying, "Oh, you can't be able to get justice, so you should just keep voting." Well, most Black Americans like myself are tired of voting blue no matter who, because we're not getting any tangibles. And if we can't get any tangibles, we have no reason to go out here and vote. So if you're not giving me anything, we have no reason to take our booties to the poll and go out here and vote for a candidate who took us for granted and have the audacity to sit there and express their contempt to us in 2020, telling us to go and work with the Hispanic coalition. Well, Barack Obama, why don't you go to those Hispanics and go ask them for their votes? Because it looks like they're voting red. So you told us to go to the Hispanics and go try to get some crumbs. No, why don't you go to those Hispanics and go get your votes? Because Black folks, we're not going to be taking no leftovers. No, if we can't get tangibles, then we got no reason to vote. Vote for your candidates, and whatever happens, happens at the polls.
Yeah, I think when I look at this video and I look at this, when Barack Obama makes remarks like this, a lot of people basically, I think, have fallen a deaf ear to them, to the Obama family, because they, in particular, and the Democrats in general, like they think they know better than average American, the American voter, and they try to push them to feel a certain way about certain topics and basically force it down their throat. And it comes off as, well, it doesn't come off, it is pushy. It's just, and when this man was president and he had control of the House, when the Democrats had control of the House for the first 2 years he was in office, right? So you can't tell me at 47 years old, when he was president of the United States, he couldn't pass a jobs bill. He couldn't do, when he was passing for health care for everyone. And by the way, the health care bill, the problem with that, here's another thing, that was created by Republicans, actually. That had been in the working for a while. It was screwing up stuff with doctors. Then on top of that, he was, people say he couldn't do anything for Black Americans. Well, Why? And he's not the president of all Black America. He's the president of America. Well, why do other groups have and have gotten benefits under his administration? When you look at Native Americans that got monies, Jewish groups, he paid money to groups too. LGBTQ, let's not forget them. He really went out for them. Repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So being the first openly president, first president to openly support homosexual marriage. These threatening to cut off aid to many of the African nations who didn't support LGBTQ and even abortion rights. Do you know that, Shawn, do you know that the Boko Haram, which is a terrorist group out in Nigeria,
Yeah.
it was reported that the American government had information on them that they were refusing to provide to Nigerians. In exchange, they had to repeal most of their laws on homosexuals and abortion.
No, I didn't know that.
They were withholding aid from groups. Yeah, Tanzania, he went to South Africa, Tanzania, and all these other groups saying that if they didn't support this, they were going to cut off their aid because most of these countries have been ravaged by colonialism. And that has impacted, their ability to defend themselves as a nation, support themselves as a nation on their own. So they rely on that aid, and here's the president of the United States threatening to cut all of that off.
And that's why people don't like these leftists, because they just try to force their agendas on people.
Yeah.
And these people are such bullies until people start standing up to them, and that's what they're scared of. It's like you treated people like garbage for an extended period of time, and people are just fed up with you.
Yeah. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, right now. All right. So let's talk about this next one. This happened actually a week ago. Milwaukee man, have y'all seen this video? Grabs a special needs Black man by the throat. Now, this is coming out of Milwaukee. This 24-year-old Black man, his name is not available at this point, but it's clear he's special needs from what the information has come out now. And in the clip, we saw a 62-year-old white man who has been identified as Robert Wilkowski grab this young man by the throat, claiming that his friend was riding a bike, or his friend, apparently of the 24-year-old Black man, stole the bike. And so he restrains him, and you can see in this picture here a video image of him grabbing the young man by the throat. So a gentleman gets out, starts recording the video, and this is what happens here. So I'm gonna play this for y'all.
I'm recording you. Let go of the man's neck. Record. Let go of his neck. He's not going anywhere.
Stole the bike right out of a friend of mine's yard.
Let go of his shirt. Let go of his neck. Let go of his neck. Okay, you're fine. You ain't gotta hold his neck.
I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it.
Oh, you think you tough? Yeah. Yeah, keep that same energy when you pull up.
All right, Robert. Come on out here and put your hand on one of us. Robert, you're a tough guy, right? You put your hand on children. Come out here and put your hand on a man. Let's try it, Robert. What do you got? Come on out here, you fucking redneck.
Ain't got the time for the rest. This a broke watch. Help her with the gun. Let me with toe guys. Think we playing with you. I really hope not. Fuck is wrong with him? What does he smoke? Hard face shots. Don't get your bow ties. I fell at home, nigga. This was your day. She lazy with the tongue. She give you low top. Damn, this how you feel when you to go. Your whole fam get the beef on the roadside. I don't want to get a copyright strike for the music.
They probably will end up doing it now that I think about it, but this is fair use. So they pulled up on him, and as of now, and you saw in the video, Sean, even the way that the man was talking, that something was wrong with him.
Yeah.
The black. So something was obvious. There was obviously something wrong, and they pulled up on him. And his uncle, who a man who claims to be his uncle, said that he has a disability, although he didn't say exactly what the condition was. The Milwaukee Police Department released a statement saying no one was injured during the incident and that an investigation is underway, as well as the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. They're investigating to review any potential charges. Well, the main charge is this. This is a battery. It's harmful offensive contact with another person, if this holds up. And I don't, as far as the theft was concerned, I'm not aware of any laws in Milwaukee. I'm not a resident of Wisconsin, so I'm not aware of any laws about citizens arrest and so forth. But you grab the man's throat, and if he was not the one that stole the bike, how do you know he stole a man's bike? How do you know it was his friend? I doubt that this man actually knows that. He probably just saw these two outside on a bike together and saw one going off on one bike and decided he was involved and stopped him. But at either way, the way he was handling this man, who's obviously was smaller than him too. I want that to, that's just real. But Sean, go ahead and say what you have to say.
Well, I find, as somebody who had a family member who had special needs, I was deeply disgusted at the way this young man was treated. Now, it's clear that this man had a disability, and this guy, he was just so in his feelings because he saw two black people on a bike. That was his main reason for going after these two these two black men, and he just went out here looking to attack this mentally disabled person, and it just sickens my stomach to see this type of behavior. Now, if this man had some property stolen, this is not the way you go about things. No, you go to the police, you file a police report, and in some cases, you file a claim with your insurance, and you just write it off. You just can't go out here attacking people because you get in your feelings. And this just shows how racist this guy is. He sees two black people and he wants to attack two black people for something that should have been handled by law enforcement. I mean, when it comes down to these type of thefts, usually people let their insurance cover it and they just move on. But this was about, again, sending a message, and that was a message to those two black men: don't come back to this neighborhood. And I do like the response, which was they came back to the neighborhood and sent a message that you don't tell us what to do. It's that kind of standing up that sends a message to these white supremacists that we're not going to be dictated by you, and you're not going to force us out of our own neighborhoods, and you're not going to make your world smooth by making us feel like less than and making us be put in what they call in our place. No, our place is our residence if we live there, and this is how you deal with the white supremacists, by letting them know you're going to hold the line and not let them tell you where to go.
Yeah, and they pulled up on him. Why? Pulled up on him, and is there? Where he's at. He needs to be. He needs to be charged.
Yeah, he does need to be charged with assault and battery, and a civil suit needs to be filed for damages because he did traumatize that disabled young man, and he did terrorize that disabled young man.
And it says here he originally believed that this was a child. So you would actually do that to a kid?
That's sick. That's what's sick about it.
Right. When I say he thought, I meant, let me correct that. The man who was recording thought he was a child from what I'm reading. So he thought it was a kid at first, but you could tell. I mean, he obviously has special needs. Just look at him, the way he was talking, his words weren't coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep monitoring this, but yeah, I'm so sick of this shit. Somebody could have ran up on that redneck and just punched him once in the jaw.
All right, I'll be right back in a moment.
All right, while Shawn is taking a break. Oh, I gotta do my advertisement right now, ladies and gentlemen. I need you all to hit that like, share, and subscribe button right now. I also need you to please go to Amazon Kindle and get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. That's available on Kindle, ladies and gentlemen. Just one click and download. You can get that. So must-have book. It's been endorsed by it's been endorsed by Bill Cosby's spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt. Judge Joe Brown has endorsed it, and even Dr. Cosby himself has endorsed it from what I've heard. So, ladies and gentlemen, you go ahead and purchase that book right now.
All right, I'm back.
All right. So Shawn is back, ladies and gentlemen, and let's talk about the last thing I got here. This is a little fun, I guess if you want to say that. Anybody know an ex-football player by the name of Quentin Hines? He played for the New England Patriots. Quentin Hines has gotten in trouble because apparently at this Michigan high school, they brought a stripper out. They brought a stripper to the high school event. She was scantily clad, let's just put it that way. And now it's being put under review. So we go right now. This is from Click on Detroit, channel Local News 4. I'm going to play this video of from what happened. The ex-NFL running back that was there. Oh, they blurred out the woman. Oh, I don't want them to blur out. Let's go ahead and let's play the video right here. So we're going to go to WXYZ of Detroit, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they blurred her out in this too. Damn it.
Eyebrows, a risque rap performance with a scantily clad dancer on the floor of a high school gym. Welcome to 7 Action News.
Come on, y'all, hit that cash out. We got a stripper here. Throw them ones in the cash out.
But just saw it took an inappropriate turn. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig is in Mount Clemens tonight to find out how they're on the floor of a high school gym. Welcome to 7 Action News at 6. I'm Dave Llewellyn. The gym was rented out for a charity event, but as you just saw, it took an inappropriate turn. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig is in Mount Clemens tonight to find out how this could have happened.
I was appalled, actually.
It wasn't so much that it was a sexually explicit performance by local rapper O.T. Rel and a dancer. It was where he performed one of his songs inside the gym at Mount Clemens High School. Matt Pitters, a former graduate, was one of the many people stunned when they saw the performance going around on social media.
The club promoter is in the business of running a business, and I don't fault them. It's the fault of, our school leaders.
I take full responsibility.
Quentin Hines was the promoter behind the event that he says featured 20 artists, including O.T. Rel. He says he rented out the school gym for $2,000.
A lot of, local singers and rappers, R&B artists that want to get their name out there, and they donate to our charity to be able to perform. And we try to provide them with an opportunity to potentially gain more fans.
They knew that the stripper was coming because I said it numerous of times. When am I going on stage? Because she has to leave. And then that was it.
And there was no interruption from anybody from the school. I would expect that even if the facilities were in use from a third party, that there would be some representative from the school that would be there to monitor what was going on. And if something inappropriate was happening, to take action to stop it.
Superintendent Monique Bell.
I was appalled and disgusted. And and just hurt for our schools and our community and our kids that something like this would have occurred at our school. The application was for a charity event. It was to be a Sweetest Day musical event and talent show. That's what we were told it was, and we have rented to this person before. We had no reason to think that anything inappropriate would take place. Nothing ever had in the past.
And in this letter to the district, the superintendent also says that Rivals Recruiting Worldwide is banned from using their facilities in the future, saying their trust was broken.
We will never rent to him again. We're also looking at our policies and seeing if there are things that we can do to tighten it up so it doesn't happen again.
As for the promoter, Hines says he will ask more questions when booking artists.
We are trying to provide that platform for artists to be discovered and get their name out there, but we will screen them a little bit better in the future.
A regular person like everybody else, just trying to be successful and feed my family. That's it.
In Mount Clemens, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
Well, hey, I can just say this much. If Mount Clemens High School ever wanted to get recruits, just do that performance again. Shit. The kids, I don't think the males have a problem with it. Okay. So, Shawn, what did you make of that and what happened?
Well, when I look at this whole situation here, this just shows what happens when people don't have good communication with each other and there is no real vetting. Now, when you're renting a high school venue, you should be really thinking about having what venue you're renting. And if it's a high school, it's a place I know that's supposed to be for families and children. And once I rent a venue like that, I'm going to say, look, I can't have all of these strippers or adult entertainers at that venue. So if this guy's doing promoting, I need to let him know, look, that's not the kind of act that's going to be appropriate for this kind of venue, because this is a high school is a place for families and children. So there was a problem here with communication. There was a problem with vetting. And this is what led to this incident that happened. Now, this guy thought, I'm just gonna, I'm renting a high school and we're gonna do an event. No, if you want to do an event like this with a person who has a stripper, you take that to a private hall or you take that to a private venue. You don't to a public location like a public school, because if you do that, you're gonna wind up creating a spectacle. And this guy probably wanted to make a spectacle because he wanted to get some cheap heat. And the cheap heat didn't go the way he expected. Yes, he got the bad publicity, but it further tarnished his reputation. But this is what happens when you have guys who don't really do a lot of critical thinking. They just act on impulse. And this guy was thinking, I'll rent this high school because it's a cheap venue, because $2,000 is a cheap venue. But he didn't understand that if you bring strippers to a high school, yeah, you're going to generate controversy, but it's not the kind of controversy that's going to get people talking about you in a controversial fashion. It's going to make people think that you're a weirdo on one point. They're also going to think you're incompetent, because only an incompetent person is going to go out here and rent a high school and think that having
what were they thinking? Right. What were they thinking? And this rapper, I'm trying to feed my family and my money. That's it. But dude, you're an adult. You honestly think it's appropriate to bring that to a school?
Not at all.
Now they're saying that the Macomb County Sheriff's Office is looking into investigating this. They've banned, of course, as you saw, the rival. They banned this, not only this rapper, but the promotion company, I believe, from the football. They banned them for betraying their trust.
They did betray their trust, because high school is a family location. That's the only family event should be there.
Yeah, they banned them. Yeah. It's also important, I think, especially on the school, they should have vetted them properly to see what the performance is about, because I have seen where even when students are giving speeches for graduation, they have to go over it with their teachers and with the administrators, because sometimes if the administration doesn't approve, they'll cut that speech. They'll tell them you can't say this. Yeah. One person wrote, "What in the traffic like is going on at Mount Clemens? Never been more proud to be a dragon." So okay. And New England, so Quentin Hines was a former running back for the New England Patriots, and he's a CEO of the minor league football organization Rivals Professionals Football League. And they're banned from using the facilities in the future. And Hines actually said, "I don't think she was a stripper. She was one of her dancers that was underdressed, and it's unfortunate. I did not know that someone would come that underdressed to dance with him."
Supposed to ask about all that before somebody even sets foot on your venue.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll be sending my kid if I move to Michigan, my son is going to that school. Man, I bet right now they're gonna have so many guys wanting to go to that high school. Oh God. All right. Well, Shawn, you have anything you want to add?
No, just that this is incident is just shows us that people aren't really using their critical thinking skills. They're not really understanding what's appropriate. And it just shows what happens when you don't have good leadership that understands that you need to be communicating with each other and you also need to be vetting who's coming to your events.
Yeah, most definitely. This is, I think, the shortest live stream we've had, man. An hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the short ones are good because you have a good short impact because the message is getting there.
Yeah, someone said, "Trust me, those kids got trans dudes in their school. They've been exposed to much worse." That's true too. I mean, if it was Saucy Santana, do you think the school would have objected?
Probably wouldn't because of the social justice.
No. Hell no, they wouldn't have objected to that, man. Social justice warriors would have tore that up. All right. I've told you all also, I want you to please donate to the PayPal, the Cash App, support this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we're not monetized, so any monies that you can contribute, I think we had some people that donated earlier, and I'm going to shout them out right now. Miss Cheryl Massey, Bernard Johnson, and for tonight, thank you, Cheryl. We'd love to see your donation, Darius. Or computer robots. Computer robots saying, "Don't make it short. Don't we have any other topics to talk about?" No, not that I think of. I did 4, computer. How many more you want? Nate, I guess I could if I want to take just maybe 1 or 2 calls. We could do that. I could take a call. You all have the call-in number. It's area code 504-656-6760. 504-656-6760. Also, ladies and gentlemen, go to Naughty'sCreoleBlends.com. Order you some Creole seasoning blends. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Naughty's goes great with every dish. Of course, buy Video Soul, which is available on iTunes, Apple, and Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. And Got to Get On Up, which is our theme song. I can take a call for a few minutes. Well, Sean, why don't when we're doing that and waiting, why don't you tell us what your live stream is going to be about? Do you know what it's going to be about?
Well, I was going to talk about bitter black men. That might be the topic, but it's still up in the air. But I'm really thinking about talking about bitter black men because we really deal with a lot of this anger some brothers have related to certain issues, and that might be the topic for tomorrow night's live stream. It's still up in the air. That might be the topic, but it might be something else.
All right. Okay. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, 504-656-6760 is the call-in number. You tell me nobody wants to call in? Nobody wants to call in. I'll give them one more minute. Oh, well, I got you here. Let me just ask you briefly, Sean. What do you think, especially, are you have any plans? I saw you were roasting a lot of stuff. The house party movie that's supposed to come out, I guess it's set from looking at the trailer. It's obviously set to today, and it's set in LeBron James's home. It looks like where they're trying to throw a party. What do you think of that? I know you thought you took him to the barbecue, but what do you think? When I want you to tell me about that, but also just more or less Hollywood remaking something. Do you think is getting played out with the remakes that Hollywood is doing and not coming up with anything original?
Well, with House Party, I was absolutely disgusted by that trailer because it doesn't capture the spirit of the original movie. It doesn't really capture the heart of what the original movie was about. Now, the original House Party was about the good kids in the black community, and it was about what we used to do back in the day to go out here and have fun. A house party was a place where people, went to unwind in order to deal with all the stresses that they were dealing with as related to the crack epidemic, all the guys and stuff and it's looking to start with you. And we would go to the house party to chill out and relax and sometimes look to go out here and meet the girls. And what your Warner Brothers did was take that classic 1990 movie and they twisted it up and turned it into a certified minstrel show that was only meant to entertain white racists in Hollywood because the film is basically an Amos and Andy skit where you've got two black men who are janitors, and the janitors are talking about how he wants to be able to take care of his child and get some money to put them in daycare. I mean, this is a certified minstrel show. They're going into LeBron James's house. And what's really sad about the original house party is that this is produced by LeBron James, who you would think would know better. Now, when it comes to Hollywood, I'm really tired of these remakes because the remakes really are not even capturing the heart of the original story. What they're doing is taking an old name, putting it on a movie that has nothing to do with it in order to capitalize on nostalgia. And it just shows how lazy a lot of these guys in Hollywood are and how they just don't want to go out here and spend the money on an original concept like what I have on many of the screenplays that I have sitting on my computer. They don't want to go out here and make the next big new thing because they're scared of failing, not understanding that it was that type of play it safe mentality that almost imploded Hollywood back in the 60s. Now, back in the 60s, your Hollywood played it safe doing musicals, doing epic movies, doing these World War II movies, and they basically almost went out of business because people's taste had changed, the times had changed due to the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement, and none of the media they were presenting reflected any of that, and they wound up almost going out of business as a result. And what's going on here is we've got a bunch of people who are just as lazy and they're not thinking about doing anything new. And there's all these great creators like myself sitting out here. They could go out here and work with us, but they don't want to spend the money because they're afraid of failing. But if you don't take a risk, you can't grow and move things forward. And the whole thing is Hollywood is stagnating in comparison to Japan, comparison to China and India. They're growing and expanding because they're telling stories about today. But Hollywood is stuck in the 1980s, and it's just you need to move on, move to some new stories and leave these old stories to be the classics that they were. House Party was a classic because it captured Black life from 1989 to about 1991, and it captured that life at that time in that bubble beautifully, captured the soul of that time, and it really was a film that could not be replicated because it's a piece that's a part of that time.
The big thing for me too is the culture. Then, especially in the '90s. Now, I was 4 when that movie came. About 4 years old when that came out, and that was the last film that was made when he was alive by the late great Robin Harris. Those guys, you had Robin Harris, not only Kid and Play, but a comedian like Robin Harris who made the film for me. A young Martin Lawrence,
Yeah.
John Witherspoon, a bunch of people, not to mention Tisha Campbell, forget to mention Tisha Campbell and your AJ Johnson. The comedian AJ Johnson was also in it, and also Full Force and Reginald Hudlin doing the movie, creating this project. That actually put New Line Cinema, helped New Line Cinema on the map because at that time, New Line was still, they were still working with the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which was fading out at that point.
Yeah.
But they relied on a lot of these black comedies. You saw not only with House Party, but then that opened the door for Friday.
Yep.
And
They
now
they were the kings of small budget movies, and the thing with New Line Cinema was they made most of their money on small budget movies that only cost 4 or 5 million, and they would make 35, 45 million dollars, and that was a business model that was prominent through the 80s. You would make these small budget movies, and then they would blow up, and then you would practically make most of your money on these kind of films. But the whole thing is that Hollywood doesn't approach that model, but they need to go back to that model.
all right. Don't forget, they even had a house. They've had so many House Party remakes. There was a fifth one with called House Party Tonight Is the Night that was in 2013. They had another one with that featured what's the name? Marquez Houston and Jerome Jones and so forth. It
I
was
think it was House Party 3, which
that was House Party 4. House Party
Oh.
3 was with Bernie Mac.
The less said about anything after 2 needs just don't say about.
House Party 3 was my House Party 3. I because of Bernie Mac in that table scene with Ronaldo Ray, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, after House Party 1, I mean, they couldn't really recreate it without Robin Harris.
No.
He was
He was a major part of what made that film great.
he was a major part of what made the film great. He was also he stole the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So all right, so nobody's computer robot says, "What can we learn from the civil rights generation?" You want to take that?
I don't really have much to say about it because I don't really know.
What can we learn from them?
Well, I don't know, not much. They have not really done much in the last couple of years, so I can't really say much.
Same here with me. I mean, they've come. There were some positive things I can say this. There were some positive things we got out from them. A few positive things, but I feel for this part, especially afterwards, they lost its wheel. They started focusing on acceptance and not trying to build for their own.
Yeah.
When they gave up their own for the the other ice on the other side, I think that did them in on some things. So that's what I think about it. And I think we can learn not to compromise on stuff and believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we can wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a great live stream. Shawn, you have any final thoughts? Why don't you do a plug in?
All right. The Woman Crisis is available on all digital platforms. And if you want to pre order a copy of The Woman Crisis, you can head over to Amazon.com, Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, or Barnes and Noble to pre order your copy of The Woman Crisis, the companion to The Man Crisis. And the book will be released officially on November 29th, but the paperback will be available early in mid-November. So get ready to pick up the companion to The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and pre-order your digital copy right now. And the paperback will be coming in mid-November.
All right, y'all heard it from Shawn. Y'all get that book, The Woman Crisis. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. at on Amazon Kindle. It is available now, ladies and gentlemen. So you get that right now, and also get iTunes and Apple. Got to get on up. Shawn, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And this has been another great live stream, ladies and gentlemen, in another edition of Gavin Reshaw Presents. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to all for your contributions and being here with me tonight. We'll be back on Sunday, hopefully, unless we're pulled. Our channel is pulled on this. Is pulled from this broadcast. We may never know. All right. I'll holler. Peace.
All right.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the good stuff. Rock steady in the groove. Pour earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing. Because the beat is really time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Because the beat is really grooving. To feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all time. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Gotta get on. Come on, baby. Gotta get on. Baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.